Welcome back, everybody. This is Ahmed,
And Luffy.
and this is the Brotherly Love Podcast, episode 23, our Jordan episode. Because
23.
23. Or LeBron. Yeah. I forgot LeBron was number was 23. I don't really watch basketball like that.
Yo, I mean, LeBron chose 23 because of Jordan. Like,
Did he?
Yeah. Mike was the original 23, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you ask Skip Bayless, because I'm sure Skip will say Mike took 23 from him.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Skip Bayless?
Who is that?
Oh, dude.
Yeah, no, the thing is with sports especially, like I love playing sports. I absolutely love playing sports. But when it comes to watching it, it's never really been my thing. If someone asks, hey, do you want to watch let's say for instance, Lakers game? Sure. I'm not going to be like so attentive that I know how much percentage of their shooting range they have and all these statistics.
Nah. It don't even got to be like that. I'm just saying, like, do you even know what sport Skip plays?
Skip
Mm-hmm.
plays.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a highlight reel? Question mark. I don't know. Is that that's what I'm saying. I don't know who
Skip Bayless is a person.
Okay,
do you know what sport he plays?
No.
Okay. Anyways,
welcome back, guys. It's been a minute since we last shot. When's the last time we shot? We shot about
literally last week, bro.
No, it wasn't. We didn't shoot last week.
Why didn't we shoot last week?
You can explain.
That was yesterday. I had a headache. It wasn't last week.
What happened last week?
Nothing. We shot an episode last week.
I swear to God, we didn't.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. It's okay. Right now we're here, and that's what matters most. Shoot, we were supposed to do a 2020 end of the year kind of episode. That's the one we were supposed to do. That's one we didn't do. And
I mean, I wasn't here last.
Yeah. And we were going to list down the things that we achieved, and I said achieved.
No,
Yeah, we're gonna list down stuff that we achieved in 2020.
Tell me.
Well, no, I mean that's the reason why in the previous episode I was gonna say something. You're like, no, save it for the next episode, mm-hmm. which is the end of the year episode. Mm-hmm. So technically, this is the quote unquote New Year episode where we talk about how 2020 was, what we look forward to in 2021.
Start it off.
All right, cool.
What happened? What's the number? I won't say what's the number one thing that happened in 2020. I'll ask what do you think is the most impactful thing that you've internalized in 2020?
The most impactful thing that I internalized that I did, or that just happened in 2020 in general?
The most impactful thing that you internalized.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't understand what your question is. So when you say when you internalize, right? I can internalize the impact I've done. I can internalize what someone else has done. That's why I'm asking you. Is it something that I specifically did, or was it something that happened?
I think it's irrelevant, like the cause. I'm more focused on the effect, how you were able to take whatever it is and then implement it in your life.
When I got my music posted on the news. That was the weekend of Baba's birthday. That was around August or so. And to me, like, that was like the most blissful moment because it was literally, we were out fishing the entire day. We didn't catch anything. We were just sitting there chilling, just waiting. And nothing was happening. And then I got a notification on my phone that Here RVA tagged me in a post. And I was like, at first I was like, no, there's no way. Because I already was thinking what I was thinking. And so I go on social media and I saw, and I was just like, wow, like that, just seeing my name on there, my music being played on like a broadcast channel, I was like, that's so crazy to me. And then literally 10 minutes later, we caught a fish. Like, so to me, I was like, that was like such a impactful moment for me. It was like to really just live life. And when you live life, great things will happen to you, like just naturally, and to not feel pressured to be the top tier guy, or I got to prove myself. It's like you already proved yourself to yourself. So it's like as long as you just enjoy your moments, then everything else will be fine.
Mm. 2020 was a hard year for a lot of people. What
Talk
was
more into the mic real quick. My bad.
yeah? 2020 was like a hard year for like a lot of people. What do you think was the number one thing, or sorry, what do you think was the hardest thing that you had to go through in 2020?
Mm, having to adjust to coming home and staying at home while not having any kind of finances in any kind of way, like just not having a job. Um, I guess that was more so the hardest thing because me being having the entrepreneurial mindset that I have, it's like I honestly like would love to just like attack the things I want to do in my own way, but sometimes you do have to kind of just fall back so that you know whenever you do start doing it again, you can really appreciate it instead of just always being on the grind and go 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 go. Because me, like I love working. You know what I'm saying? I love doing the things I'm supposed to be doing. I love attacking the goals. I love attacking, but having to just like really fall back was probably the hardest thing for me. What about you?
Mm, I don't know. I don't know what was the most difficult thing for me. And part of the reason is because I try really hard not to think about things that are difficult, or I try to reframe
Mm,
how I think about like challenges.
okay.
Um so like even if there was like difficult things, like I try to like reframe my thinking and like I don't know, to move past it. So the reason it's difficult for me to answer is because like it sounds so like, oh, new age spiritual bull BS whatever, but
Mm,
like I really try not to hold on to things that were like challenges or struggles in my life. And most of the times, like when something was a challenge or a struggle and I look back at it, it never really was a challenge or a struggle. It was challenging in that moment, it was a struggle in that moment, but every time I look back, like I'm like, oh, that wasn't a real challenge, that wasn't a real difficulty, like, so what are you, what are
although
you.
that is true, I do think it's still necessary to recognize the challenges that you have overcome, even if it does seem real small and insignificant. You're like, what are you talking about? Like that's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because there's other stuff that's happening currently. But try to put yourself in that mind frame where you were at that moment where something was stressing you out or something was challenging you to really like attack it head on in some kind of way. Like what was something in 2020, if you can remember a moment where.
Why do you think it's like that though?
What do you mean?
Like like why, like, are you saying like that's the wrong way of like going about it,
No,
or
no, I'm saying it so that you can just see how far you
you're
come. it's,
saying
it's
like
actually a progressive.
don't negate the challenges? Well, I'm saying like that's exactly what I mean though. So like I can point to stuff and be like, oh yeah, this was a challenge in the moment, but what I mean, like, this is what I'll say is like every time I look back at something that happened in my life that I was like, yo, this was really difficult, or this was a big challenge or whatever, like it's the I have the benefit of perspective now. I have the benefit of completing the challenge. So the type of person I am, I'm always going to look back and look at that stuff and be like, it was trivial of me to think it was a challenge. You know what I'm saying? I would like it was, and that's why like I don't even associate challenge with those events that happen. And that's what I was saying, where I was like, I try to reframe my thinking. So it's like I don't really remember a lot of things that were difficult that happened this year, or challenges. For me, it would probably, like, I could say like, oh, moving back home. But like
Yeah.
that's so BS like of an answer for me, like I feel like,
Hmm.
because like how am I going to say, oh, it's a challenge to have to move back home with my family that I love and not have to pay rent, and I have a mother and father who love me and pay for dinner and pay.
Yeah, but
but
I also
but but
feel.
that's what I'm saying. It's like it becomes trivial from now that I have the advantage of perspective. Like in the moment, I can talk about the fact that, like, oh, it was a shot to my ego, and it was
Yeah.
difficult, whatever. But like that's what it ultimately kind of comes down to, is like when I have the benefit of perspective and like I look back at, like, you know things that were like difficult, I feel like a lot of it's just like, um a lot of it's really just ego driven. It wasn't a real challenge, or it wasn't a real and like that's what I mean, like my life isn't difficult. You know, like there's challenges and obstacles that pop up. But like when I look back, and that's what I mean, like when we have the benefit of perspective or the privilege of perspective,
Mhm.
it's like I look back and I'm like, oh, none of this stuff was really hard.
Yeah, that's fair. That's what I was gonna say. Like, yeah, I 100% agree that now that you have, progressed past it, it's like now you have the perspective of like, oh, that wasn't even really like a crazy challenge. Maybe it was ego, maybe it was just a little curve in the road. You know what I'm saying? Nothing too crazy, but it was. I guess the question was more so just to kind of put yourself back in the mind frame. But I can also understand where you're like, I don't really remember because it's not that challenging. I was like, that potentially, depending on which extreme you fall into, that could be a coping mechanism to be like, oh, I don't remember because for you, it might have been, let's say, for instance, it was like painful in the moment. And for you, it's just like smile and keep going so that whenever achieve whatever you achieve, it's like, oh, it wasn't even really, you kind of, in a way,
Oh, I do that on purpose.
so you subsidize, in a way, you subsidize your feelings to be like,
I wouldn't say subsidize. I would say like I sedate them. And I do that purposefully though.
why?
Because I don't want to experience the highest of the highs. Because I don't want to experience the lowest of the lows.
But don't you think in life you need to experience both the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows?
I've already experienced them.
Do you think there's never gonna be more? Do you think
Of
not?
course there's more, but
Mhm.
once you experience something, why bother? Like, and you know what it is, right? So like, for instance, you know what it is to feel happy,
Yeah.
right? It does feeling happy ever feel different?
No.
Exactly. So I know what it feels like to feel really happy. I know what it feels like to feel really sad. What I come to realize is it's a double-edged sword. I can
Mhm.
play and live within my emotions, right? But then there's a lot of things that I'll never accomplish, right? If I relish in the fact that, like, of all my emotions that come to me, I'll never be able to achieve the things that I want to achieve in life because it's harsh to say, but life doesn't care about your feelings. Like life cares about what it is that you do, and that can seem like a very like
Well, what's what I'm saying? Like, what is life when you say that? When you say like life doesn't care about your feelings, who doesn't care about your feelings? Like when you say life, like what is life when you say that? Are you
uh,
saying like the general society doesn't care about your feelings? Do you know what I'm saying? Like what
no,
is it?
no, not that. I'd say it's more so my own personal ambitions and aspirations and what I personally want to accomplish in life has no correlation to how I currently feel.
Okay.
Right? So for me, I have to learn that at a point you have to separate how I currently feel to get to what I ultimately want. And like part of that is sedating the feelings that I feel. Like if I say for instance do something amazing and I like drop this huge project and like it's amazing and then I relish in that amazement for a while. You're never going to continue to evolve and grow and whatever because you're just going to live in that praise. In the same
Mm.
way, the opposite side of it is, you do something and it's really bad or something really bad happens. If you just stay in that like really bad state because that's how you feel, you know what I'm saying? So I don't let myself feel whatever. I'll ration myself out of feeling very sad. You know how you can cope by like acknowledging, like say someone
Yeah.
passes away, right? And I'm not saying you shouldn't grieve, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't be happy, but I'm just saying be mindful of how much you live in your emotions. Don't let yourself get ecstatic. Like, the ecstasy is a drug.
Yeah.
Literally,
It's like the pure, quote unquote, the purest form of happiness.
exactly, and like, so I'm not saying I don't have emotions. I don't feel my emotions. I don't experience. I do all of that. I get happy. I get sad. And I be happy. I be sad.
I be happy.
My
I
third
be
grade
sad.
English teacher, like, bruh. But I think more so like, I try not to let myself get too out of bounds because I know that it's a double-edged sword. Like I can't be this happy and not expect to feel that sad. I can't feel this accomplished and not feel like that much of a failure. Like you have to experience both extremes. And it is a coping mechanism, and like everyone has coping mechanisms and we can
Of course.
talk about like how healthy it is, but like it's something that I do. I know for a fact, like I don't let myself get too excited.
Too
But
excited.
then the benefit of it is like when something bad happens, I honestly don't get too sad because like in the same way I'm able to rationalize like, oh no, I am excited that I was able to accomplish this, but I need to focus because the next goal is this and blah blah blah. When something bad happens, I'm able to be like,
Mm.
dang, this sucks. But at the same time, I understand that this is a part of life and it's something that I need to accept and blah 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 blah.
Hmm. Okay, that just reminds me of I'm rereading a book called
The way of the
um
superior man.
no
Oh,
no no
okay.
no I kind of put that on a hold for a second. I was like, I need to read something fresh.
Oh, okay.
It's called Everything is a book about hope, and one thing it was talking about was the thinking brain and the feeling brain, and how a lot of times in society we see as like the people who dominantly use their thinking brain and pretty much like put their feeling brain like captive pretty much and don't even try to acknowledge it are seen as superior, are seen as like, oh, they get it together, they're on their hustle, their grind, whatever it is. But you know, and then there's some people who are purely feeling brain, and the thinking brain isn't even, you know, there. But with the feeling brain, they're like, everything is for me, and they feel like you said, they feel things to the extremes. But it's to the point that it now consumes their life, right? And then there's the people who have it where it's balanced, where the thinking brain is still there, the feeling brain is still there, but now instead of trying to hush the feeling brain, it acknowledges the feelings, and from there, then you're able to have that nice, you know, relationship between it. And I guess for me, like what I do, what I'm learning to do as well, is like if something exciting happens, I let myself in that moment for the day. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not like to the point where it's the entire week. I'm like, oh yeah, like I know people who like they have instead of a birthday, like
Birth
birthday,
month.
birth month or birth week. And I'm like, to me, right, just because everyone has their own kind of way. For me, I'm like, I personally cannot celebrate my birthday every single day for a month or a week, whatever, just because it's the month. For me, it's like, let me have like just that one day where I can just really um you know, enjoy the blissfulness of that moment. You know what I'm saying? But after that, it's like, all right, now I'm able to accept that. Now there's other things I still want to do. And I can still have that as a memory, but I'm not gonna let it, you know, consume me to the point where I think I'm this superior, you know, whatever it is, because I got something accomplished. That's great. 100. It's like when I forgot when this was. It was I was listening to another podcast, and someone just won the championships in basketball. It's crazy. We're talking about that. It's crazy. And they just won the championship, whatever it is. And a reporter asked, "What are you gonna do next?" And he was like, "Man, let me enjoy this right now. Let me enjoy it today, right now. You can ask me tomorrow. That's fine. But right now, let me just enjoy it."
Mm. Yeah, it's a balance, you know, at the end of the day. So, you know, I know I'm probably a little bit to one side of that balance,
Yeah,
you know, but like, you know, it works for me.
I
Like
know.
I'm
I
not,
can respect it.
yeah,
Everyone
I
has their own
don't,
kind of way.
yeah, I don't negate my feelings, but that's part of the going back to the first question. That's part of like how I reframe. You know what I'm saying? Which is why, like, yeah, there was difficult things that happened this year. You know, I'm sure for everyone, like coronavirus was like very difficult. You know, and like all of the things that came from that. There's still millions of people who are unemployed. You know, there's dozens, thousands, whatever businesses that shut down. You know, there's just just here in the city, like just here in this city that we're in right now, 50 restaurants. I'm not talking about other types of business. Just the restaurants in the city of Richmond have shut down permanently.
Mhm.
50. 50. Like, and this is for something like it's funny. I was talking to one of my friends, and he was asking like how business is going and stuff, and it was making me think back at this year, right, in the theme of 2020 episode, and I was telling him that the 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 biggest blessing from this year, if we want to switch some, we talked about
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah.
The biggest blessing from this year is how much it forced me to slow down. Like I mean, obviously, however, the first 15 minutes podcast, like you guys see, like uh I'm very like, yo, go get it, go get her, to like A, B type, like, just A to B, like type thing. And I was moving very quickly in business, and like I was quote unquote successful, right? But now you have to manage the success. And
Yeah.
that's what I found myself in. And like I had the benefit of like I'm doing business in a booming economies. Who the hell can't do business in a booming economy? You know, but the economy switched. And it didn't just switch like there's a prolonged economic contraction. No, this was a very short, very deep like recession, the quickest recession ever in American history. So you think about it, it's like it'd be the difference if like someone stabbed you 100 times versus just like a real quick little, you know what I'm saying? This was like a real quick little like you people can they're hearing it, they don't see I'm pretending like I'm slicing this
Yeah,
thing.
I can just imagine you just walking down the street, and instead of someone like fully stabbing you, there's like slice.
Yeah, just like quick little slice,
Just
you know,
quick
like
little slice.
you get a cut, like almost like a paper cut, you know.
Okay.
But then have you heard of death by 1,000 paper cuts?
Yeah.
You know, and like this is almost in a similar way. Like this was a very quick, you know, contraction and stuff, and what it made me realize is, you know, I need to slow down everything. You know, slow down the business, slow down, you know, myself and everything, and make sure that everything that I'm doing is ultimately leading me to my goals and my aspirations, and my ambitions. Because a lot of times we let our ego get in the way of those goals, and it's crazy because, you know, tying it all together, our society so much places professional development the as like the epitome almost of like success. Like success is defined by professional success, career success. And commonly those people who are most successful in their profession and in their career are the most failed in their relationships.
That's true.
You know, like how many lawyers get divorced? You know, how many single doctors are like, you know, doctors be running through those nurses. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of, and I'm not just talking about that, but like think about how many people who, you know, CEOs, whatever, and they're like, they have problems with their kids. They don't even know their kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like on so many different levels, like all these things. So it's like you have to take a more holistic perspective, like on yourself, on your life, and on your dreams and ambitions, and then making sure that everything that you do leads you to that place. You know, I was growing the business with the mindset of growth, because that's how success is defined. When you continue to grow, when you continue to buy more buildings, you have more numbers. You know, the more numbers, the more successful, right?
Yeah.
But what I've been trying to realize actually is that my definition of success is actually kind of less numbers. I don't want to have 500 properties. I'd rather just own 5 bangers. You know what I'm saying? Like if I own 5 like banging buildings,
The ones that like really, really keep you up.
I don't need 500, you know, small little townhouses or whatever. Like those are numbers for the birds. That's just stuff you're telling the little girl on the side.
Like, yeah, shout out,
Yeah,
500
I got
properties.
500 cribs, you know. And so she's like rocking with you, like, oh, but that's 500 roofs. That's 500 places that the property manager needs to go. That's 500 tenants. That's 5. You just multiplied everything by 500.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to focusing on your goal, which is financial freedom, and having the time to develop relationships with people you love and stuff like that. You know, last thing I'll say is like outside of all that stuff, right? The second biggest blessing that, you know, I felt in 2020, honestly, like for real, is like starting this podcast is up there. You know what I'm saying? It's top 5 for sure. Like there's
Top
a few
five.
top 5. There's a few other ones, you know, like us starting to like do Quran study and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think this podcast, because for me, the podcast was like, we started this in those when we were getting cut.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we started this literally like, oh, shut down. Like this coronavirus is brand new. Whatever. I'm like, yo, bro, like we've wanted to do this for a while. You know, and you were saying the same thing. We're both finally in the same place. Like, let's do it. And now we're 23 episodes in. You know, Jordan year, we got new backdrop. I know y'all see that. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? Like it's slowly evolving, like time after time. Like, you know,
There's
I
always new
remember our
advancements.
10th episode. I remember our 20th episode. I remember when we came here from our old spot. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so I still see it going. I'm like, yo, we're only on 23. Like, bro, this shit gonna be popping. and keep it on it.
No,
In a few episodes. So.
I agree. I think with 2020, yeah, one similar to you, a really, really big blessing, and I'm very fortunate to have this, is that it really did require me to slow down, like slow everything down, slow down, how my mind is racing, how, I want growth, growth, growth. I want success, success, success. That sounds weird. Success. No, yeah, because I will say, like, although, yeah, in general, like worldwide, 2020, very like terrible year. I get it. Completely understand. But yo, in terms of my career, my G, that shit was popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like really going up because my mindset was, all right, boom, I got to make this content. Content, all right, I got to get these followers. Followers, all right, I got to make, an engaging community. And like, that's my only focus. But then there was a point where even recently, I realized, I was like, you know what? Because I've been so much out there, instead of still trying to reach out for more, let's hone in on what you do have, right? Which is family, which is love, which is, the friendships that I have. And from there, that can not only solidify my own core grounding, but when I put out more stuff, it's more like I told you, it tastes like a 5-star meal instead of just here you go. You know what I'm saying? I guess another blessing that I had this year, as weird as it's not, COVID. I got COVID. But not because I got COVID, but because COVID, during that time of being inside, it required me to look at my values and required me to see like the things I really want to change about myself and who I want to associate myself with. And then from there, it was just like, yeah, I feel like honestly, like the most connected I've had in a minute. You know what I'm saying? I feel very just like present with where I'm at. I don't feel rushed. I don't feel like, oh, you got to do this. It's like, I'm going to do what I can today. That's it though. I'm not going to exert my energy out to the point I'm stressed about it.
Let me ask you this. Like, you're saying you had a very successful 2020. I know
Yes.
I surely did.
Yeah.
Where do you think the disconnect is? Why do you think so many people, when they looked back at 2020, they were like, oh, I can't wait for it to be over, 2021,
No.
New year, new me. Where is the disconnect? Why do you think that you had such a successful year where so many people struggled?
Well, I mean, there's the physical reality. You know what I'm saying? Like COVID happened. Millions and millions of people lost their jobs, right? So a lot of times it's hard to feel hopeful and hard to feel connected with yourself when everything outside of yourself is fucking destroying.
Because you had to live through COVID. You
Yeah,
got COVID.
I got COVID.
Like,
Yeah.
how did you get that hope? Because the situation isn't different for you. You still live
yeah.
in the world too that has
Yeah.
COVID.
I guess it kind of goes back into like your state of mind and how, not, I wouldn't say how strong you are, because I think a lot of times people put emphasis on, you have to have like the craziest mental strength, whatever. It's like, no, you just have to have a deeper connection with yourself. It's like when you sit with yourself, and let's say, for instance, a friend goes to another room and you check your phone. That's because subconsciously you're afraid to sit alone with yourself.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think this year required people to sit alone with themselves. And for them, it was like their first awakening to who they really are, which is scary. And it's very, very dark. It's not, spirituality isn't rainbows and butterflies. Nigga, you're alone dealing with your trauma constantly, right? So it's easy. And the thing is, I don't want to act like, oh, I'm better than you, whatever. No, like, because I was there too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really like down deep in the dirt of like my trauma and things I'm dealing with. But I guess for me, the thing I changed was similar to what we talked. It's so crazy how in this podcast, the things we say about earlier come back again. I don't relish too much into that darkness, right? It's crazy. I know we're saying it. Yeah. But I use it as like, I'll let myself feel it. For a couple of days, I'll feel it. You know what I'm saying? Really, really feel it. But then from there, I'm like, all right, now it's time to make an action plan of where I want to go or where I want to be mentally and how can I change myself. It doesn't happen overnight, though. I'm going to make the same mistakes over and over, like thousands of times. But I understand and I empathize with myself like, yo, I'm human. I'm not going to be perfect. But the fact that I'm trying, that's what matters. So I guess for me, the reason why I was so successful is that like I really, really like felt and saw the blessings around me. Like, yo, I have a healthy mom and dad, you know what I'm saying? Like I get to talk to them. I have siblings who care about me. I have an audience that really, really rocks with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I not feel fortunate? Even though, yeah, I still have stuff I'm dealing with and I can deal with those things, but I would rather see the positives in my life rather than always submitting to darkness.
Mm. No, I feel you. And
Yeah.
that, like you said, that was kind of how I was approaching it earlier, where it's like, it's not like, of course, I remember, yeah, I remember difficult times in my life. Like everyone does, right? But it's just, it's difficult for me to find difficult points because of
Mm,
how I try to frame my thinking. I always try to look back at things that happen. The worst things that happen in my life, I always try to make them blessings.
mm,
You know, like, and that's why I was saying, like, it's hard to talk about, oh, it's difficult, because
mm,
the reason I can make something that was previously a challenge or a difficulty into a blessing is because I realized how that challenge has led to where I am now. And I always look at myself today as 50 times better than I was yesterday.
oh
You know,
yeah, same.
like let alone last year or whatever. Like I always look at, I'm a better man today. I'm in a better position today than I just was yesterday. And going back to our last episode, a part of our affirmations, my intention is to be a slightly better man today than I was yesterday. My intention is to do more right than wrong. If I set those intentions every day, however minuscule, I'm becoming better. I'm getting put in a better position. And if that is true, then that means everything that I did before has led me up to this point
Mm,
purposefully, you know, and I can, and if that's true, then I have to make amends with everything that's happened too.
that's true.
You know, going back to the silence part, it's great too, because you know last week we didn't do the episode because I went on a trip
Yeah,
for New
yeah.
Year's, right? And so like the place is, it's about 3.5 hours away, right?
Okay.
And we were driving over there. It was me and my girl, and this isn't the first trip like we've gone on.
Hmm.
Like we've done other stuff and gone to other places and stuff. But something that I noticed, especially during this trip about her, is her default is silence.
Mm,
Like when we're in the car driving, there's a lot of people, their default, you get in the car before they even turn the car on. They're on their phone lining up the playlist for the drive. You know, like her default in the car is for it to be silent.
mm.
Like no music, no radio, nothing. Like if you guys converse, there's conversation, right? And we did. Like I'm not trying to make it seem like this ride
Just
was-
driving like this 3 hours,
It was
no talking.
yeah, I know.
Just-
I was like, people gonna think this is awkward. We got problems and stuff. No, like, bro, I'm saying like I gained actually like so much more respect for her because I know the level of mental mastery that requires for you to be comfortable, let alone in silence, but we're comfortable enough with each other to be in silence with each other,
Mm,
you know, and not feel forced to start conversation or to break it up, the monotony or the quote unquote awkwardness of the silence. There's nothing awkward about silence. You know, in fact, I swear to God, my favorite way is to make other people being uncomfortable by me not saying shit.
you you purposely are just like sitting there in silence to make them awkward, like to make them feel awkward.
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and but context matters, right? I'm not saying
I was about to say
that-
like you're chaotic evil. Like you purposely just like I'm just not gonna talk so they can feel uncomfortable.
right that the grocery store like, "Good morning, sir. How are you?" I'm like, nah, it ain't like that.
Mhm.
What I'm saying is that, like, specifically in negotiations, whoever talks first loses.
I've heard that tactic before.
Whoever talks first loses. Whoever says a number first loses. Like there's certain things, right? People all the time, like, you know, because when I'm doing business, they'll be like, "Oh, you know, what do you want for this?" Or they'll say like, you know, "What do you think about this?" Or they'll just be like sitting there and then they'll like be silent for a second because I can tell they're thinking, right? And there's a normal, healthy level of silence, but I'll let it sit and fester until they say something, because you're more likely to say something like beneficial to me if I just shut the fuck up.
Just like
right?
just
Yeah.
there.
So like in that way, I've gotten used to. I've been used to being in silence since I was a kid. You know, like it's normal for me because Baba's the same way.
Yeah.
When I drive with Baba, his default is silence. You know, and the conversation, the music, whatever. That's like you have to bring it up or out or whatever, but he's cool living in silence. And like anyone like that, like I said, like I just have a deep respect for, like on another level, because I'm like, you mastered something that most people can't imagine, like I'm talking like, bro, this 3.5 hour drive. I like if she pulled out even her phone, I like it was I didn't even notice. Cause like she was just content, like just being and
Just
I'm
being there.
bro, I'm like, trust me, we talked almost the whole way there. You know what I'm saying? Like, but in the moment of silence, I realized the type of person that she is. And I was like, wow, like that's admirable.
Yeah, no.
You know?
I've had a lot of encounters of like silence, and a lot of times where it used to be was that if it was even silent for like 5 seconds, I'm just like, oh my God, why is this so awkward? Why is this so awkward?
Put on some music.
Yeah, but like put on some music or go on your phone, like something to distract your mind. And sometimes I'll even catch myself doing that. I'll be going somewhere or whatever it is, and I'll see myself getting distracted, just doing stuff, just having stimulation sometimes. And it's crazy because sometimes if you just put your phone away or like whatever it is that you're doing and just be, the first 10 minutes is going to be the hardest shit ever because you're just thinking about, I got some texts, I have emails. Oh, what happened here? And you're just constantly thinking. But the moments where you're just there and you don't feel so bad about being silent or just not doing anything. I had to confront myself with that yesterday. Because yesterday I did stuff in the morning, but afternoon it was kind of just like free reign, like do what you want. And there's a moment I was just sitting there and I was like, is this okay if I'm just sitting here and I'm not doing anything? And I was like, at first it was like a 5 minute debate in my head. And I was like, yeah, why isn't that okay? Just to breathe. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me go outside for a second. Let me just breathe and not do anything. Because yeah, the phone and conversation, whatever it is, that's great. That's all great stuff. Cool. But there's also a limitation that you should have so that you're not too festered into to that reality. Cause that stuff is like fake. You know what I'm saying? It's not even really real. It's just kind of stuff that we have to pass us by during the time, so I mean, especially recently, I've had a habit of waking up, and when I wake up, I make sure that I breathe for at least like 5 to 10 minutes before checking my phone, so I can be mindful of like, okay, why am I even checking my phone? This morning, obviously, I didn't really care. I was like TikTok, just scrolling. But I'm making it more of a habit of like when I wake up, turn off my alarm. All right, cool. Let me do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. It just makes more sense in my head to do so.
It reminds me of the question, like, how long is a day?
How? That's a
And
good
it's
question.
like,
Everyone's like, oh, 24 hours, but
it's like, yeah, but like, how long are those hours? Like,
yeah,
it's like, like people be like, oh, that's not a long time. It's like, hold a plank for 24 hours, or people would be like, oh, that's a long time. And you'd be like, well, like find love then in 24 hours. Like, well, it's not enough time.
it's
You're
even
like, it's
yeah,
it's strictly dependent on like the amount of mindfulness you bring into those hours.
yeah.
Like if you're constantly throughout your day, the reason people like they notice that, they're hitting 2 minutes on a plank, be like, oh my God, my abs are burning, is because you're bringing mindfulness into every single moment of that plank. You notice it, you feel it, you're in it, right? But throughout our day, people be going 30 minutes driving to work, be like as if it's nothing. I'm like, bro, you couldn't hold a 2 minute plank because this is the world, right? It's so long. But 30-minute drive to work is absolutely nothing. This should show you that time is completely a figment of your own imagination. Like the sun goes up, the sun goes down. Beyond that, we just making shit up.
No, yeah, like
if
it's like the thing where you're at work, right, and you're just chilling at work.
you work for 7 hours,
You work
look
for
back
seven
at
hours.
the clock.
You look back in the clock. It's only been like 20 seconds. You're like, what do you mean? It's so slow. You know what I'm saying? And it's part of the mindfulness.
Yes.
And it's even the other thing where it's like, oh, when you're having fun, time doesn't even really exist. And it's like, yeah, because you're being mindful in that moment. Yeah, I remember it was yesterday because I think was it yesterday? Yeah, I think yesterday, either yesterday or the day before, I woke up really, really early and I did everything I was supposed to do. And by the time I was like actually finished, I was like, yo, it's only 10 a.m. I was like, yo, this is I have the rest of the day to myself. Like, this is bomb. Like, what do you mean? So it was it's a crazy moment whenever you are really enjoying life, or you're just content with where you know where time is and stuff, and then you look back and you're like, oh, I didn't realize, you know, how much time passed, or you know, realize how slow time was. Sometimes I'll go to the park thinking I'm there for like 2 hours. It's only been 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's only been 30 minutes. I'm just like, what, nigga, what?
Yeah, bro. And that's exactly what I mean. Like, your perception of time it's like, it's not just you. No one's perception of time is like calculated well anymore, you know? And it's part of the reason is because, like, if you're working hourly, like 90% of people who work on like they get paid per hour probably hate their jobs, right? So, and since you're being paid by the hour, you're thinking like, how can I get through the day? Like, that's all on your mind. That's the only thing that you're thinking is like, how can I get through the day type stuff, right? And like, if that's what you're thinking, like, it's very easy for your day to take a long time if there's nothing happening, or if there's a rush and you're very busy, maybe your day goes by quick, you know? And like, it's sad in a way, you know, because I think back to like just 100 years ago, say for instance.
Okay.
And I'm like, yo, or, you know, 200 years ago. And I'm like, yo, like, especially if you go like 200 years ago, I'm like, yo, people, like, the majority of people, like, if you wanted to like eat, you wanted to do something, like, you had to go do it. You had to spend your day doing what it is that you want. You know, you couldn't go on Google and see an image of a waterfall. Bro, you had to walk to the waterfall. And that took time, you know, and like, and then you had to go exploring, and then you chill in the waterfall for the rest of the day, and then you can hike back at night, you know, or if you wanted to, whatever, like, you had to go do it. And that's stuff.
Initiative.
Yeah, like, you know, I was looking at a map from American Travel Times, right? Like, how long it would take to travel from New York City to different places over the course of time. So, like, literally, like, 200 years ago, it would take you like 3 days to a week to go from New York to California. A week, my guy. You know
it's
what
a long time.
Bro, I can fly around the world 6 times in a week right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're at such different speeds of things being able to transmit. People, products, ideas, you know, all that stuff. What?
Sexual diseases. Because you said transmit.
I mean, shoot, that stuff be rampant too.
That's,
you know what I'm saying?
That's facts.
Depending on what part of town you go to, you know, like, that stuff be moving too. But I wouldn't know, you know, I got a girl, I'm a faithful man, faithful black committed man.
He had to put emphasis on that.
Yeah, what's that thing?
Faithful Black Men Association or something like that.
Okay, something like black men don't cheat.
Yeah, black men don't cheat.
So I wouldn't know. But you know, it's like all this stuff is moving so quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're living in it now. So it's like we move quick, our mind move quick. All the entertainment for us 200 years ago, you want to be entertained? Go read a book, bruh. You know, like go see the play. You know, like go see a live band maybe perform or something like that. But everything that was entertainment focused took a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know, and big, like, the easiest example is like, bruh, a book. Like, why do you think niggas been writing for thousands of years? Like,
yeah, there's books, there's...
But now, like you said, TikTok, 15 seconds, right? And it's just, in that 15 seconds, you got a girl twerking, showing her tits, throwing her ass in a circle, talking about wop, 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 wop. Like, you know, like, doing this, that, the third, then the next
TikTok turned into TikTok Premium. So quick.
Yeah, it should be called Only TikTok. Get your premium subscription.
Bro, you'll just be chilling, and then like you won't even think the video is bad. It's like, oh, it's a girl. Okay, cool. What is she about to do? Oh, the transition is her in booty shorts. Oh, crazy.
Bro, you know what's hilarious is like how it made me realize how out of touch I am. Like, and it's funny because I always, like, I know I'm out of touch. Right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's a positive trait of mine. In fact,
that's fair.
You know, like the fact I know I'm out of touch. Because if you out of touch and you don't know, then you're just not cool, right? But if you out of touch and you know, like, you got a little self-awareness.
You got a little swag.
Yeah, you got a little self-awareness. Like, oh, I don't know that shit. Like, you're just confident in it, you know. But like the funny thing is like when you guys would first show me TikTok, you and
yeah.
Wyatt, and I'd be so confused because I'd be like, wait, what was the video? And like, because it would just be some girl just like this. And of course, like she got on like, you know, the low cut
crop top.
Yeah,
her boobs are
yeah. She got
out,
she got the mammograms. You feel me? She got the
How old are you? Damn.
she got the jugulars, right?
Just say it normally.
And and I would be watching it, and she would just be there in the video like this. And then it would move to the next video. And I'd be like, what was that? Like, what did I just watch? And then the next video would be like another girl like this, like, and I would be like, and that was the whole thing.
Man.
And I was like, wait a second. So like these dudes, like, and then like I would see it has tens of thousands, 100,000, millions of views. And I'd be there like, wait, so millions of people watching real, it's like softcore porn.
Yep.
But like in the worst way possible. Cause I'm like, cause if you just wanted to watch porn, it's free.
I mean, that's free too, technically.
What?
But I'm saying TikTok, whatever.
It is.
But I also understand what you're saying. I guess for them,
I'm an all nothing type guy, bro. Go for it. What you doing watching this for? Like,
I guess the reason being because of the soft coreness, it leaves the user, whoever it is, imagination, right? So like
that's why I think it's worse.
Yeah. I also agree. So like I said, like most of my For You page is this spirituality.
Most of your what?
So when you
Explore
go on TikTok,
page?
No. Oh, it's technically an
For You page.
For You page. So
okay.
there's two sides of TikTok. There's a For You page, and then whoever you're following, right? So you can go to the following, whoever you're following. You can see their updated TikToks, and then For You pages. TikTok pretty much analyzes your likes and your interests.
Your algorithm.
Yeah, your algorithm pretty much. So mine is pretty much spirituality, some like comedy / dark humor, whatever it is, right? And then sometimes I'll be scrolling, and it'll be like the one
baddie.
The one baddie, Blue Moon, right? And at first you're just like, what's the problem?
Blue Moon? Isn't that a beer?
No, I'm saying once in a blue moon.
Oh, once in a blue moon.
Yeah, like the phrase, once in a blue moon.
Sorry.
And you're just seeing it, and then it's just this like baddie that like, you know what I'm saying, doesn't normally, the IG baddie, they're not like the standard, you know what I'm saying, of a standard kind of woman. Like everything is like on point, like waist, tits, like the yams, you know what I'm saying? Like it's all there, and then they're just shaking to the point you're just like your jaw drops.
What is that song? Megan Thee Stallion? Oh, Wally.
Oh, body yada yada.
Body
Yeah. Which is, I think,
is so annoying. I hate that song. Bro.
I understand why it became a twerking song trend because of.
Well, it sounds like a strip club song.
What do you mean? Like, not even a strip club song. It just sounds like the old song Wally World. Well, you never seen that?
Is that not the same song? Bro, what the hell?
Like there's similar cadences, but they're not the same. But it's because of that.
What is she saying? She's saying
body yaddy 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 ah. Specific on the tongue.
I was supposed to say thank you for the exact amount.
The exact amount
of addy addies.
No, yeah, but that became a twerk song.
17 of them. If you count it.
Like 17.
Like, go ahead.
But no, yeah, even that, like, it became a viral trend on TikTok, and like I think just in social media in general, girls dominate because the amount of like dudes
thirsty
who were like, yeah, bro, if you even show like just a smidge, a crumb of cheek, a crumb of tit, like 1,000, like, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So it's a lot. I wouldn't say it's a lot easier, but I would say like they dominate the sexual demand market on social media.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, in real life and on social media.
That's it.
Like, yeah, of course. Women are the face of like sexuality. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there's an interesting tidbit I want to take out of there for a second, right? You said that, if you show the slightest bit of cheek, a little bit of side boob, whatever, like you can get tens of thousands of followers and whatever, like if you play into that stuff, right? And that's what makes me respect women who don't and are beautiful so much more.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you find like a girl who's like attractive, like this is an attractive woman and she's modest. You know what I'm saying? Like she's not relying, like I'm not saying don't use your beauty no, you should use everything you have. Like, and I'm being serious with like, even as a man, like if you as a man walk into a room and you trying to get something done, and you can tell that like by bringing out some sexual energy, you can, I don't want to use the word coerce, but you can convince
Convince.
you know, like this person to go along with what you're doing and saying and blah blah blah. Like you should do that. In the same way, women, like, yo, if a woman wants to seduce a man to like do certain things and like just in her, you know, for her ulterior motive or whatever, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. The thing comes up where it's like when a woman knows that she could resort to that, right? When she
yeah.
knows she could very easily do that, but she
Yup.
chooses not to because she respects herself enough to be like, I know I got this, right? But I'm gonna make you respect me for these
something
things.
else. Yup.
Right? And like
Yup.
that's the difference between like the girls that we just be seeing on the gram and like a girl who I'm like, this is wifey type material.
That's fair.
You know,
Yeah.
because she's saving kind of like the best parts for like me. You know, like you could show that to everyone, but you're choosing to show it to me. And you're making everyone else respect you for these things instead.
That's fair. I mean, to me personally, like I've never really like cared for like a woman can be modest, beautiful. A woman can also look, you know, quote unquote explicit, beautiful, cool. The one thing for me, and the reason why I was saying yup, is that there's two types of women, right? There's a woman who knows they're beautiful. Yeah, that's cool. But they also have other things that people admire them for. But if, let's say, for instance, if I go to your social media, whatever it is, and the only thing that people are admiring you for is your ass or your titties, I respect you for your hustle and your work. Cool. But I guess for me personally, like I said, this is an opinion. This isn't like all, you know, end all be all for men. I just wouldn't want to be with you. I wouldn't like.
I'd bang you, but I'd never be with you.
Yeah, I would probably smash, but that's probably it.
It's the difference between being hot and being beautiful. You know, like
Hot, high valued.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just use the word. I use the word beautiful for like wifey material type
That's fair.
women.
Yeah.
And I don't consider women who are hot beautiful. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Because girls can be cute and beautiful. You know, hot to me is like, yo, this girl's hot. Like all that means to me is like, yo, this girl's banging. She got a
Yeah.
banging body.
Yeah.
I don't give a F about her political views, you know, what she wants to do in her life. That's irrelevant. Like, what does that have anything to do with the fact that you got a banging body? You're hot, right? Like you appease my visual sensations, cortex, whatever. I don't know you.
Okay, so I have another question then.
Yeah.
So let's say, for instance, you go on, you see, you meet a girl in person, right? Beautiful, like mashallah, she's, you know, whatever it is, she's great. You know what I'm saying? Personality wise, even body wise, crazy, cool. You go on her social media. There's a couple pictures that are, you know, modest, but then there's other pictures that are, you know, let's say for instance, quote unquote explicit. I mean, like I said, for me, I personally don't care at all. Like you're a woman, you do what you want with your body. That's fine. For you, for Luffy, what do you see? Like, what would you be? Oh, I guess in a way, like, how would you feel seeing that?
I think you're a grown person, do whatever you want.
That's fair.
Right? Like you're a grown woman, do what you want. You're a grown man, do what you want. That being said, do not think that will not absolve you of any accountability for your actions.
Consequences.
There are consequences. Thank you. That's the big word. Consequences, accountability, like,
Yeah.
you know, and judgment. You know, like, yeah, you do you, but I'm not gonna be with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, in
That's
that,
fair.
like, and that's the thinking behind it is like, all right, like that's what you choose to do, right? It's just not what I know. I'm not gonna come at it from a position of hate. And like I know a lot of men who talk about things we talk about. They're gonna be like, those girls for the street.
Like, yeah, I'm like, yo,
They for the streets,
Yeah.
you know, they for the intergalactic highway, like, you know, like, you know, women like that, you know, don't worry about, just run them through, like, women are
Yeah.
trash, blah, blah. Like, they approach it
I
from,
would never.
they approach it from such a hard, like I said, a lot of dudes, like, they approach it from, like, a I hate women thing, like, perspective almost. I'd be like, bro, you sound gay, to be honest. Like, you know, like, the way I look at it is, like, in that situation, right? A girl who's presenting herself as modest to me, and then I go online and I'm like, you know, what I'm gonna assume, just being completely honest, is like she got some, and I'll be like, all right, cool. But my assumption is like, you have probably some deep-seated insecurities, right? And it's fine. We all have insecurities. It's just, this is how you're choosing to work through them, overcome them, whatever. If you do choose to overcome this insecurity, let me know, because maybe I'll be interested. But for the time being, like, I'm probably not interested. And it's not even just that. It's like, I'm not really big on social media, right? So for you to be like into it is okay, right? I don't care if you're on social media necessarily. That's not like a deal breaker for me. But what is a big deal for me is what you decide to show other people, right? And part of it, and I'm not saying, like, if I go on and all the girl is doing is bragging about herself with, my accomplishment here and my accomplishment there, I'll be like, what is this, a LinkedIn page or your Instagram? Like, I'm gonna look at her weird a little bit too, like, I think it's really important for people to consider what, and this is the big word, content they're giving other people to consume.
Yeah.
Like, if she's makes a post every day, right? But she's making educational posts about this subject or that subject she's passionate about. Amen. Amen. Post every day, girl. I like you. I like what you're doing, because, like I said, like, if I'm with her, obviously I think she's attractive, right? But she's modest enough to know that she doesn't have to lean into that. She can push out whatever educational content she wants, whatever other things she wants to put out. She doesn't have to, like, quote unquote, resort to, like, showing shots of her titties or her ass or whatever like that. So I'm not, like, I don't think it's a hard line. Oh, she has social media. I think the most important thing is, what are they putting out? Like, it's very easy to tell. Like, I go on girls' pages, and if it's literally just every single picture is you, we have nothing in common. We have, like, I just know, like, I don't need to talk to you. I don't need to say anything. I just have to, if I go on your Instagram, right, and, like, I look at the last 10 pictures, if, like, 4 or 5 of them are pictures of you and your face, we probably don't got much in common, and it has nothing to do with, like, you necessarily. It's not an indictment against you, but I know, because I've done that, and I've been there, and I've been with people who, and so I know, you know what I'm saying? And, like, you can find your own justifications for it, and I'm not gonna argue for or against. I just know what's good for me, and I know that sort of behavior isn't good for me. Like,
I feel that when you said accountability, it just reminded me of there was this Twitch streamer, and it was on TikTok, and he's like, I hate it how, like, now it's like, girls will say, what was that?
Just
cheers.
cheers.
The guy was saying, I hate how girls now say dudes are insecure for, oh, you're not gonna be with her if she has an OnlyFans kind of thing.
What?
Yeah, that's the actual thing, bro.
That's a real thing?
That's a real,
I'm insecure, like, because she has an OnlyFans?
Yes.
Bruh. Yeah. Our generation, bruh.
Yeah. So when I first read that, I was just like, I literally just left the app. I was like, I'm not even gonna acknowledge what I just read, because, like, here I'm just gonna say this, like, it's okay if a dude is okay with that. That's fine. Like, that's your choice, right? But don't say you're insecure. Try to point fingers when it's reasonable, right? It's literally reasonable of why he would feel it was not even insecure, uncomfortable with it, right? So it's like, when you say consequences, it's like, yeah, you can do this thing 100%. Do you live your life how you want to, but also understand not everyone is going to agree with your lifestyle, and that you have to understand that.
Exactly.
And when someone says, hey, I'm not really comfortable with that, don't point the finger and be like, bitch ass nigga. Whoa. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just not cool with it. Like, for me, I wouldn't really be cool with it. That's just a me thing. There's millions of guys that are like, I'm fine with that. That's fine. That's cool. That's
go date one of them. Yeah, go date one of them.
That's them, not me. That's not me.
It reminds me of what is that? God dang, bro! It just left my mind. But accountability,
consequences,
OnlyFans,
Jordan.
Oh yeah, I forgot
about Jordan. We talked about blessings in 2020.
Yeah, no. It was with the accountability and OnlyFans.
Talked about girls being, you said modest.
I know. No, it was about that. So
okay.
I almost had it. Well, I don't know. I think it's just, if you do something like OnlyFans, right? Like, realize that, like you said, there's consequences, and you have to live with those consequences. Some people are gonna jive with it, some people aren't, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm not with it, so take that ish elsewhere. This is what it was. I finally remembered. Real short point, right? Same thing as like, you'll never hear someone that I used to date or something like that. They'll never come back and be like, oh, Luffy, he didn't allow me to go out wearing this, and Luffy didn't allow me to. You'll never hear that. Why? Because I feel the same way in my relationships. I let you do you, but I watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, you know, we're gonna go out and then you dress like that. I'm not gonna say, yo, put on something else. Like, maybe like if we've been together, like I'll maybe voice my opinion a little bit, be like, you know, whatever. But I just take note, and I'm like, no, you do you. You a grown ass. I'm not dating a child. I'm dating a grown ass woman. So make the choice, and just like I will make the choice if I want to continue being in a relationship with you, because your actions speak to your character, and my action to stay with you speaks to my character.
Fair.
Yeah, if you hoeing around on OnlyFans, what people think about me? I'm a hoe.
Simp.
I ain't no hoe.
He's a simp.
Really though, yeah. I was like, honestly, I do feel a lot of ways about it, but the amicable, friendly thing to do is to just be like, oh, do you?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm over here like, damn, she was hoeing, bruh.
Yeah, no, I feel you. All right. I mean, that was a pretty good way to end off the episode. Episode 23. A lot more to come. I'm very glad we had this new setup though. It's very, very nice.
Little backdrop work.
Little backdrop, you know.
A couple camera angle switches. I know y'all see that.
Something slight.
Yeah, we always looking to improve. So that too, you know, guys, give us feedback. You know, drop some comments below. Tell us what you think about the set. What you think about the pod. Give us ways to improve.
The pod.
We always trying to improve.
Yeah, we're always trying to improve. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really, really appreciate everyone who takes the time to listen, to share, to like, to comment, whatever it is. Just that in general keeps us going. This is Ahmed.
And Luffy.
And this is the Brotherly Love Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Bye.